Welcome, friends. Today, we are doing a vintage formula comparison video. Marvelous. That is right, my friends. Once again, I have returned to you, this time with something a little bit different. I'm going to be comparing two vintage formulas of a very popular perfume. A perfume that's still in production, but the modern version just is unspeakably bad. It's unsmellable almost because it's so mild. It's so weak and truly a shadow of its former self, you know? And that perfume is Bois D'Argent by Dior. Now, let me tell you about these bottles. First thing, you are right, they're fucking massive. One is a 450ml, this one, and this one's a 490ml. I think it's actually 5, is it? 500ml? No, 490. What an unusual number, you know? Don't know what that is in ounces, or if that makes a thing, but God knows. On your left is the original 2004 formula of Bois d'Argent, the Cologne. And on your right is the 2010 re-release by Demachy, the Eau de Parfum. And you'd be thinking to yourself, well, is there much of a difference? Can it be worth it to do that video? Yes. It's as if you have learned nothing. Stop that. There is a difference. There is major differences. And I might do this with a couple of other François Demachy perfumes where he has reformulated someone else's work, and sometimes he's reformulated his own work with varying degrees of success. Just a side note, Bois d'Argent has been out for 21 years. It's been through a few reformulations. To me, these are the only two worth owning. It was reformulated in 2018. It was re-released. Dior, to the everlasting, and to be fair, François Demachy's everlasting shame, called it a new release and said he was the perfumer. That is scandalous. It was the same perfume, it was the same name, in the same bottle. Yes, he had reformulated it, but taking credit for someone else's work for a reformulation is scandalous. That's bad. You shouldn't do that. It's plagiarism. At worst, it's plagiarism. At best, it's semantics. Don't ever do that again. So it was redone in 2018. At that point, I said, I'm not buying those. You can tell as well, in 2018, the label changed, and they made the lids different. This is how you can tell these are old. These have the CD separated. On the new labels, on the new ones, the CD is conjoined. It's joined up, basically to emulate the Chanel logo, which is, again, pathetic. Dior was always the wild child, the rebel. They would always do something totally different. But God knows. LVMH have got them. Well, they fucked them, really. But anyway, this video has been requested by Karen. Hello, Karen. I hope you are watching. You better be watching. You asked for this. Anyhow, here I will opine on the differences in the formulas between them. So, let us have a little dip, because these are both splashes. Where the heck have I put my scent strips? You would have thought I'd come prepared. But again, it's as if you don't know me at all. Here they are. My scent strips. I will dip them as nature intended, and then we will see what we think. So, I'm very fortunate to own these because the cologne especially rarely comes up, and I don't just have one, I've actually got two of the cologne. This is a 250ml. This comes with a splash. The old one's much thinner glass. This is another thing you can tell. This glass is so much thinner than this. This is much thicker. The Eau de Parfum. I suppose it's kind of on brand, that, because Eau de Parfums are thicker than Eau de Colognes anyway, but that's something else I'm going to come on to. I'm extremely fortunate. Both the people I bought these off didn't know what they had, you know? So, I mean, I didn't rip them off, but I mean, they could have sold them for 5 and 10 times what they actually did in the end, so good for me. Good for me. Okay, we'll dip both. Bois d'Argent. This one was released in 2004. It was made by Annick Menardo. That's the cap there. As you can see on the inside, it's very different to the modern one, which I will show you. The glass is very different. The opening is very different. Okay. Ooh. Let's just put that on. We don't want that to escape, evaporate, or be exposed to any more air than it needs to be. And here is my Eau de Parfum. Now, the Eau de Parfum I bought retail. The Eau de Colognes I got on eBay. The Eau de Cologne, I think, was sealed. The 250. The Eau de Cologne was, the 250 was sealed, I think. The 490 wasn't, but I will come on to how you can tell that it hasn't just been refilled with something else. Anyway, I paid less than retail for it. Okay, so comparing the two, I will tell you the notes from the original. The notes from the original are juniper, cypress and iris, patchouli, myrrh, amber, resin, leather, musk, honey and wood. The opening of the cologne. The opening of the cologne is tight. It's sprightly. It's a little bit effervescent. It's got some, even after all this time, it has got that green, slightly effervescent sparkle. And the opening of the Eau de Parfum is much more resinous. It's much thicker and feels like it goes straight into the mid. Let me tell you what the 2010 says. Iris, myrrh, juniper, cypress, musk, okay. The opening of the Eau de Parfum is much rounder. It's not sharp. It's not effervescent. It's creamy. It's thick. It's as if you go into a perfume that exists all on one level. It doesn't have a pyramid as such. It doesn't have a sharp top and then expand out like a wedge. It's when you smell them side by side, they really are actually quite different, the tops. You can tell they're the same perfume with different formulas. Again, there's much more greenness in the original one. The iris is there, it's not powdery. The iris and the myrrh play out in order. So the iris comes first. This is the cologne. The iris comes first after that green, slightly effervescent opening. You get a little bit of warmth from it. Some cleanness. It's very comforting. But it also smells really expensive. Doesn't matter if the formula is expensive, it smells expensive. You get some sweetness, but nothing rushed. Nothing forced. The eau de parfum is much creamier, much milkier. It has that texture. It's a little bit, it's not lactonic, but it's got the texture of like cream. It's thick. It's not syrupy. It's got a whiteness to it, like Bois d'Argent means like silver wood. But it has that, like silver has a whiteness, and that it comes off in this fragrance on both. There's patchouli in there. Again, a very, it's not a rich, syrupy, thick patchouli. It's very meditative. It's very calm. Round. Now, the eau de parfum starts going into slightly more musky territory, and it's not quite as sweet. There is sweetness there. The honey in the eau de parfum is much more tame. It's not sweet. The honey in the eau de cologne is there, and that adds to the cleanness. The patchouli's clean, the iris is clean, the cypress is clean, the myrrh is clean. Everything's very clean, but it feels like it's got age. It feels comfortable. It feels slightly exotic. It's got like something, enveloping about it. Both of them do. The way the cologne behaves, and I think this is the biggest difference between the two, the way the cologne behaves is that it's much sharper in its kind of definition. You can smell myrrh, you can smell iris, you can smell honey, you can smell vanilla, smell that green top with the juniper. With the eau de parfum, it starts and continues as the finished product. It doesn't unfurl, it just, you spray it on and it exists. What you get after 5 minutes is what you get after 8 hours. It's static. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I really love this formula and I will not be parting with it. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is that this is the difference between Annick Minato and Francois Demachy. And I might come on and do another comparison where I do like a Francois Demachy kind of my sort of interpretation of what his perfume style is like. because I could do it with Dior Homme as well. I've got the silver stem Dior Homme, which was made by Olivier Polge. And then I've got the Reformulation, which was made by Francois Demachy. And I think it exposes this point more. Francois Demachy's perfumes, reformulations in this case, of other people's work, show him to be someone who uses much broader strokes and much less sharply defined, intricate parts of each perfume. They still create a perfume, and some of the things he made are incredibly popular. You look at Dior Homme Intense, his formulation of Dior Homme Intense, his formulation of Dior Homme Parfum, which he made, incredibly popular. Eau Sauvage Parfum, very popular. I could do a comparison between those two. But that's him reformulating his own work. What I kind of think the takeaway is from this is that Demachy's perfumes aren't as stylistically sharp or defined as the original concepts for the perfume. It also bears saying that when Bois D'Argent came out, Hedi Slimane was in charge of Dior's creative direction. Hedi Slimane created Dior Homme, not just the perfume, but the look. He was head of Dior from 2000 to 2007. When he left, and I think that's when Demachy came in actually, when Slimane left, you could absolutely tell that a change in aesthetic had happened. Slimane liked sharp, he liked definition. The Slimane aesthetic is worth looking into at Dior. And just in general, you know. Excuse me. The perfumes followed that trend. And it shows what a creative director can do as far as perfumes are concerned, you know. And what a change can also do to the same perfumes. The takeaway from this, I suppose, would be that the original cologne, I like the original idea of almost everything, including in perfumes anyway. I always try to get the original formula of something, you know? Because what it is the idea that was signed off by everyone involved. And that was their original thing with the tools they had at the time. If you buy reformulations, that's fine. I've got reformulations of other stuff. I mean, that's a reformulation and I love it. But the cologne is special. The cologne is special because it's much more my style of perfume. It has a top, a middle, and a bottom. It changes, whereas the Eau de Parfum doesn't. The Eau de Parfum doesn't. The Eau de Parfum comes in, puts its feet up and says, here I am, and that's what I am. The Eau de Cologne is more, it's not chaotic. It's lively. It's alive. It's got energy. And that energy changes. It's kind of like reformulations are kind of like a feedback loop. Every time it gets reformulated and something changes, you get further away from the original idea. But that's just me. Anyway. Final thoughts. The Eau de Cologne is sharper and more alive. The Eau de Parfum is more sedate and round. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I'll see you again soon.